Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso.
The integrity of the county clerk's office is now gone. How can we go back and trust the clerk's office with so many people involved?
New Mexico County officials busted. Authorities arrest 7 people they say were part of a check cashing scheme.
Also, a new ordinance being pushed in City Council for wage theft across the city.
And immediate changes to the TSA this morning after undercover testing of the screening process at airports.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
A very good morning to you, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Let's get right to Crystal Cly. It feels so nice out there right now, but
it's going to get hotter, Crystal.
Oh, yes, it is. That's the indicator. If it feels really nice in the morning hours, we're in trouble for the afternoon because it's going to continue heating up. Let's start with your clouds and radar map outside. Not a lot going on out there. We did see some rain yesterday in the afternoon and then into the overnight. Those scattered showers really did pick up across the map as we had expected, but overnight things started drying out, and into this morning we're now under just mostly clear conditions. A few scattered clouds still hanging around our region. As we move through our temperatures, we're at 73 in El Paso, winds 9 miles per hour, and in Las Cruces 59 degrees, winds at just 5 miles per hour. Today winds are going to be breezy. In the afternoon, temperatures are going to be nearing 100 degrees. We'll talk about if we make it there coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, Crystal, thank you. From our New Mexico mobile newsroom, employees from the Southern New Mexico County Clerk's Office are behind bars this morning after authorities say the employees committed a fraud and identity theft sting. A total of 7 people are in custody. 4 of them are county employees. Many of the people that you see in this video are not among those arrested. The county clerk is also not commenting on the investigation. The suspects are accused of taking part in a check cashing scheme. A county clerk office document technician is allegedly the woman behind the scam. She's 42-year-old Maria Ceniceros. Also arrested, her 24-year-old daughter Denise. Maria's husband, 47-year-old Francisco Ceniceros, was also taken into custody. Others arrested are county document technicians Nadia Martinez, Emilia Gomez, and Rina Rodriguez, who does recording and licensing for the clerk's office. The group was allegedly collecting and cashing fraudulent tax return checks in exchange for kickbacks. The sheriff's office was tipped off in May, and an investigation followed. And also out of New Mexico, Governor Susana Martinez has appointed a new district attorney for 3 southeast New Mexico counties. The Hobbs News Sun reports that the governor appointed 5th Judicial Chief Deputy District Diana Luce to replace retiring district attorney Janetta Hicks. Luce will work out of Lee County and would oversee Chavez, Eddy, and Lee counties.
In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott's first biennial legislative session is over. It saw the passage of an open carry law for licensed gun holders, and concealed handguns will soon be allowed on college campuses beginning in 2016. But here's a look at some of the other bills that either made it through or fell short. Border security spending has more than doubled. $800 million was approved for more state troopers, cameras, and a spy plane to patrol the Mexican border. The Texas DREAM Act survived. Texas's practice of giving in-state tuition breaks to children brought into the U.S. illegally, it looked like it could be dismantled by conservatives, but their efforts went nowhere. Republicans did not touch $12 billion in the state's rainy day fund, and they granted $3.8 billion packages of tax cuts that could diminish revenues. Lawmakers also changed the rules so that if they're charged with public corruption, they'll be prosecuted in the hometowns that elected them instead of in Austin. And back here in the borderland, Lift Up El Paso, an organization of local community groups, is pushing a new ordinance now to fight wage theft in the Sun City. City government got to decide on whether to pass stricter punishment for businesses accused of wage theft. The new ordinance being pushed would allow the city to revoke permits and end contracts with businesses who have substantial wage theft convictions. Supporters say the current system does too little, and they want to see it change.
We're hoping that the city council is listening, to the El Paso people, the workers who've been affected by wage theft.
We gave direction to staff to bring us back the ordinance, and included in that ordinance is a list of all the permits and licensees that we can actually take effect on.
The council did not vote on the ordinance as of Monday, but they plan to bring it back in a week or two after some changes have been made.
El Paso police are now investigating a murder. We broke this story here on Good Morning El Paso on Monday. One man is dead, another in the hospital recovering after a stabbing in the Northeast. It happened just after midnight yesterday at the Villa Cinto Apartments on the 8700 block of Dyer. Police were called out after a fight broke out between 33-year-old Stephen Joseph Bro and 30-year-old Rudy Hurtado. Both men ended up stabbing each other in the fight. Bro died at the hospital. Hurtado is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and police say he will be charged with murder once he's released. Police also say they are still investigating.
A live look at traffic right now. It's 5 minutes after 6, so pretty early still this morning, and people hitting the road out there. It looks good, though.
It does. Well, the head of the TSA has been yanked from his job after a massive failure in airport security breaches. ABC's Valle has the latest from Washington on this story developing now.
TSA screeners put to the test when the Department of Homeland Security sent undercover agents to dozens of America's airports. What they found was an alarming rate of failure. In one case, sources tell ABC News, an undercover agent set off an alarm at a magnetometer, but during the pat-down, TSA screeners failed to detect the fake explosive device that was taped to his back.
It is disconcerting when we are trained to identify those type of prohibited items, and it doesn't work.
It may not work the vast majority of the time. According to officials briefed on the results of the internal investigation, TSA screeners failed 67 out of 70 tests, allowing those undercover agents to repeatedly get potential bombs or weapons through security.
The terrorists do watch this thing. They do watch and go to school on how they can learn from possible vulnerabilities.
This morning, Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson is ordering changes, removing the head of the TSA and demanding the agency revise standard operating procedures for screenings, provide intensive training for supervisors, retest and reevaluate screening equipment, and TSA screeners can expect even more random covert testing. Secretary Johnson says undercover testing has been done for 13 years to improve the TSA screening process, and says the numbers in the reports never look good when taken out of context. Valle, ABC News, Washington.
We have new video this morning allegedly showing Iraqi jet fighters carrying out airstrikes on ISIS hideouts. The video was released by the Iraqi Defense Ministry. The footage released late on Monday is said to be filmed from an aircraft where Iraqi air forces support a government offensive to retake the region from extremist militants. The Ministry of Defense said in a statement attached to the video that the Islamic State group had suffered heavy losses in men and equipment following the attack. Last month, the Iraqi government announced the start of a wide-scale operation to recapture areas under the control of the ISIS groups in the western Anbar province after suffering a humiliating defeat in the regional capital of Ramadi.
Well, it is a sad day in Texas for Whataburger breakfast lovers.
But if you're a fan of the hamburger, maybe not so much. We'll explain why the popular fast food restaurant has to limit breakfast serving hours for now.
And it was the last game against the Iowa Cubs last night for the El Paso Chihuahuas. We'll have the highlights coming up.
And we'll talk with Crystal Fry and see how hot the forecast will be today. It's like a game. How hot will we go today?
Exactly.
And will this be the hottest over the next week, or do we have even bigger rise ahead of us? We'll take a look after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.